Hey, welcome everybody to a Wednesday night at the crib. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and I forget what is the one on Seinfeld. Never
Oh, where
mind.
you air
I
your
think I'm a little young
grievances?
for that.
What? What
The
was it,
one
Brian?
No, I said I think I'm a little young for that.
Oh, okay, okay.
I remember what you're talking about, where you air your grievances, but I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, yeah. And Boxing Day. That's another one I think I forgot on the list. But hope everybody's doing well. We're going to talk about Bounty 5, the upcoming TLC that's going to give you the skill hall for the upcoming Siege raid cycle, and the Crusher Cannon, um, one of the prizes associated with the bounty. But let's start the slides. Larry's going to be here a little bit later. He's at the dinner, but he said he should be back. And I'm going to put Dr. Death on present so I can watch YouTube in case anybody has any questions. And you can hit hide there at the bottom, Dr. Death. There we go. And click to the next slide. All right. We were talking about this in the pre-show. It appears it was started last week and it's continuing to go on. Players that don't have 2 Zeloses in their FM fleet, or none, if you're running just an icebreaker fleet, a solid icebreaker fleet with the Visagos, are taking significantly more damage in the 115. There's a couple theories on why this is happening. I mean, as far as the solution from my side, if you have a Zelos that's halfway ready, throw it in there and test it out. Because personally, I was running a single Zelos with Monoliths and it was doing instant repair on the map to instant repair. And now I'm up to like 20 minutes to a half an hour. And then I threw in a single Zelos with Speed Systems 6 and 4 sprint countermeasures, and I was back down to 0 damage and a lot of easy driving. So I'm, don't shoot the messenger, but there's something screwed up here.
Yeah, something's definitely screwed up, but we don't know if this was something that Kixeye intentionally tweaked in the background, or if this was a bug that appeared in the game. So send in your tickets so we can try and get Kixeye to investigate and look into it and either tell us the truth that if they changed something, or find what the problem is and fix it.
Yeah. Corey says easy stack driving. Oh, with 2 Zeloses? I assume that's what you mean, Corey. Yeah, because a single Zelos, it's not easy driving. Everybody that watched me says, you're driving it like you stole it. But, before, when I was taking 0 damage. But afterwards, I was not taking 0 damage. Starting not this FM, but the previous FM. Really? I don't know. Maybe I just all of a sudden got stupid on driving, but that's a possibility.
Well, that would be a whole bunch of players that just got stupid, though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, hopefully this gets resolved, because a lot of people that have been building their fleets and getting to a point, and now they think that they made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. I think it's a gameplay issue, and it's not on our side of the, it's not on our side, it's on their side of something changing. The other undocumented feature, which it's, I wish Daniel was on, because he ran some testing earlier, 2 or 3 days ago. And he was having, he put some recondite rockets on his icebreaker, and he didn't really see that it was working, but his internet is down at this point. But Dr. Jeff, you did put one on each one of your icebreakers, and it is making a difference, correct?
Yeah, it's not making any difference whatsoever on turrets, but on the Draconian carriers, it is slowing down the amount of UAVs that the Draconian carriers are firing. And I can notice that because I can pull when my Zeloses charge ahead of when my icebreakers charge ahead of my Zelos and first trigger those UAVs, it just looks like it's, a swarm coming out like every 0.2 seconds. But then after I get that first salvo off, it slows down to maybe every 0.4 seconds that a swarm comes out. So you can actually see a difference in the amount of UAVs being launched.
Okay. And who knows? Maybe this is the issue. Maybe they did something to the UAVs that has caused this issue. Because I didn't even realize, where I was taking the damage when things changed. So I wasn't completely certain. It'd just be nice if they either fix it or explain what the change was with the 115, so people can at least adjust to it, because it's
not even in the 115 though. I tested the 111s out too, and the 111s are doing more damage too.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I think I only hit one 111 a while ago, so I'm not as experienced with those. All right, Brian, have you seen any more undocumented features?
No.
Well, we're going to talk about some more that actually. Let's move on, and I'll let you. We'll come back to undocumented features later.
Oh boy.
Because yeah. All right, Legion headquarters. This is a new co-op target. That has been dropped today. They say they're spawning near the what do they call it?
Vacuum bases.
No, I'm saying what they called it. I know where they're. Oh, nav beacons. There's nothing on the map that's a nav beacon. I mean, they're the nav relays and your towers, relay towers. So it is right that they're near the glowing nav whatevers. So, which is in the Drac bases. But yes, they're spawning at the Drac bases. So it's there are 120 targets. They're supposed to the way it works is you're supposed to send in 2 players, one with a siege fleet, preferably cannoneers, but some people have been having luck from what I've seen with ironclads, and then a skirmish fleet, and basically one takes out the turrets and the other one takes out the ships. And then also all players who are in the target, when it's completed, receive a small Legion chest, which will drop one of the 3 charged armors, M, X, or C, as well as up to 20 hours of structure build tokens. I have not heard of anybody where both players received the small Legion chest. Normally it's just one of the players. Which is, I don't know if it's intended and just poorly communicated, or I don't know what's going on with us, but I don't know. I mean, you can click on to the next one.
Oh, so while we're on Legion headquarters, let me talk about it.
We're still going to be on it.
Okay.
The text 2 clicks are still. This is the info, small Legion chest, and then you go one more time, and then you can talk about whatever you want. Next one's the target.
Okay, interesting things to note about this target. If there's a fleet off the map up at the very top, and if you retreat, it will not reactivate. It stays locked outside the target map. So you got to kill that fleet up top before you retreat. Mm-hmm. That's one bug that's in this target that people need to be aware of. The second thing people might want to check out, this target, we've all been hearing the rumors that there's going to be a new missile turret in the siege targets that does radioactive damage. And bingo, this target has it. There are these, if you look down at the bottom island, the last turret there on the very bottom that's closest to the docks, that is a missile turret. It shoots a radioactive missile. It can shoot a very long range. I'm guessing around 160. And it will hurt you.
So it's sort of very similar to the napalm missile that we've had in our base for, or potentially could have in our base for quite a period of time. Where some it's similar. It's not the same because I've seen the way it works. Because the napalm missile would fire a missile that would, multi-salvo Merving type action, and then would put fire on the water. And we've had that in our base for a really long time. So yeah, but that's a similar sort of.
Similar like sort of big action. It's a big flying turd that fires kind of like a mort almost. Because it's got a really high arc, but then as you move, it will change its trajectory and follow you. So we're gonna have a way to shoot it down.
Yeah, but I swear I saw people outrunning it with because I was watching where I saw the bug was Shane is in my he's on my same Drac base. He's on the other side of it. And he was hitting one, and I was watching him hit it. And he was trying to hit it by himself and test it out. And, he was trying to go back and forth with skirmish and siege. And he was doing pretty well as far as outrunning it. I don't know what he has on his fleet, if he has... But charge armor wouldn't matter. But he wasn't taking damage until... he got down in the corner. He got down in a corner and wasn't able to outrun it. So I don't completely understand that turret yet, but it was interesting. But the thing I did notice was, the big thing that we noticed, and you brought it up earlier, Dr. Death, was he was trying to do it by himself. And the reason that's not recommended, which I'm assuming this is not a bug, is, like you said, there's... you see everything in front of you, but there's also 5 or 6 ships off the map that get triggered basically when I'm not sure if you kill all the buildings or there's a certain one towards the back that you kill.
No. All you got to do when you come into the target, I found this out. When you come into the target, go straight across and kill that top torp tower, and you will activate those 5 ships that are off screen. If you make certain you kill them before you retreat, the rest of the target you can bounce in and out of.
Yeah, but the issue, but what I'm trying to say is people that are trying to do that themselves, trying to do this target by themselves, if you're using cannoneers as an example, cannoneers are going to fare very poorly versus those ships.
Right, so if you're doing it by yourself, you've got to come in first with your skirmish fleet, with either your hunters or your fangs, and run across the top and get that fleet activated and kill it. Then you can bounce out and bring in your cannoneers, but you've got to kill that fleet first.
But can you trigger that fleet twice?
You don't have to. I was doing it by bringing in my Fangtooths. I'd come across and I'd hit that torp tower, right? As soon as I hit that torp tower, I'd hit the down arrow and just leave my fleet sit there. Those 6 ships that are off the screen all would come down onto the screen and attack my Fangtooth. So then I'd just drive away and kill them. You know what I mean? And then that fleet off the top of the screen there was dead. And at that point, then I could jump in and out to recharge my armors or to switch my fleets, you know what I mean, with no problem at all. But if you come in and go towards the bottom and start killing off the other stuff and try and retreat, you lock that fleet off the screen. So you've got to, when you hit this target, if you're doing it by yourself, you've got to use a skirmish fleet first. You've got to go across the top and hit that top torp tower and activate those ships and kill them before you can do anything else.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had that much experience with it. Once I realized that, I stopped messing with it once I realized the payout was messed up, and I really stopped messing with it. The fact that it's not both players, and it's only one player, and I'm sure we'll know, or a lot of people probably already know, if it's the first player in, the last player in, some of the previous mechanisms.
tried it both ways. The first Legion that I hit, I had the priority symbol. And I stayed in there with an ally mate all the way to the end. Right? Mm-hmm. And I had the priority symbol. I was the first one in. I never retreated. A small chest. The second time he went in first, and then I went in, and we bounced back and forth like that. And I was in at the end, but I wasn't priority at that time, and I still didn't get a chest. So there's just something bugged on it. Like it's like a random thing.
Okay. And this is an interesting target for them to drop, especially if you think that the new turret we're seeing is a mechanism that's going to be associated with the upcoming siege raid. It definitely has ships and moving ships and whatnot. It just seems like an odd transition since we have not seen what we expect. What we expect as the next round of siege targets yet. So this is an interesting timing for this drop at this point in time.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if radioactive will work in here because the particle accelerator, the new particle accelerator cannon, can't even scratch the turrets in this thing. Even with the pack blast, it just does nothing to them.
But you said people were using cannoneers.
Right, they're using cannoneers with the Millennium gun. I've got an ally mate that's got the full Buccaneer fleet built and Skull. And he brought it into the target. He brought it into the target, and those particle accelerator cannons could not even scratch a turret.
And it has been proven mathematically that this gun is better than the Millennium gun. So the question then becomes, how is that combination of results possible?
Splash damage reduction on the turrets and everything else. Because the difference is the Millennium has no splash, and the other one's a splash weapon. That's the only difference I see, Brian, to your question.
I think that's probably the correct answer. I had a tinfoil hat answer, but I wasn't thinking because I was doing math for later.
No, but splash would affect the turrets around. Wouldn't a direct hit be a direct hit still?
It still has splash.
No, it's always splash. It's just a matter of just imagine the splash is like a big cone. And the closer you are to the center, the more damage you're going to do. And as it goes out, it falls off.
Okay.
A party hat. And as it falls off, you're doing, but even at the top of the party hat, it's still splash damage. There's never a direct hit with splash damage.
Well, then there must be heavy, heavy, heavy splash reduction on these targets.
That's the only reason, I have not seen what you're talking about, but that's the only way I can really, reason out what, your observation. So,
heck, he couldn't even kill a torp tower.
That is interesting. So yeah, I mean, splash reduction, and there's no building here with an aura that says, we're doing splash reduction here. So yeah, I don't know what's, maybe they're just missing that, because you would expect something like that. You would expect a building, because they have put buildings before that reduce certain kinds of damage at certain times and for different reasons, but there's no aura buildings here that I see.
Or just hose generalists entirely. Target balancing
it's not even generalists. This is the next,
Oh no, this is a 6-month-old troll back from when they put in the building of, we can't actually balance generalists, so we're just going to hose them.
Okay, Corey's seeing the opposite of what Dr. Death said, but Corey, you're not going to get on. Even if I post the link, you're not even going to get. Are you going to get on and explain it? If you're willing to, I will post the link for you to get on there and explain it, because I have not had enough experience with this. I mean, I've only had that one experience.
And any ideas what the symbol on them one ships that move really freaking slow is?
No, there's 2 or 3 of them.
There's 4 in the target.
Okay, there's 4. Okay, no, there's 4. Okay. No, I mean, maybe they're doing the splash damage reduction. Maybe that's, who knows? Maybe they have a CIC built in. Maybe that's a CIC. We haven't seen that. Or is that the correct term for it?
I think so.
Yeah.
The new special we're supposed to get next raid for the skill hole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to fit it on the turret when it's, for us, it ships, but yeah, big red thing in the middle of the HSC.
No, but this is on the ships, but we don't know what kind of impact that they have. He's talking about the 4. I forgot the name of these ships.
Oh, then I mean, I have no idea anyway.
Yeah, these are old ships. These are like 3-year-old ships. Alrighty. I don't know. We've thrown a lot of questions out there. I don't know if we have a lot of answers. Bounty 5. Whoops. Well, I'm saying we can go to Bounty 5. And it's going to be harder and harder to find bounty with a number with existing stuff, just so everybody knows. As far as I ran through the bounty briefing, I didn't really see any changes associated with that. Besides the prizes, I didn't really see any changes in the mechanics. I'm not a huge bounty person, but did anybody see anything that was glaring?
Yeah, they made no changes whatsoever, and that means that only the top alliances are going to be holding all the freaking Nexuses again.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about the prizes in a bit, but there's not a lot of new blood. I mean, the King's Writ dropped off except for the skin, which is sort of interesting.
Still 1-0 too much cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Like, good job, art team. But it's not worth 15,000 bounty. No, bad. Bad product team.
Yeah, but why is the King's Writ not there at 2,400 or 5,000? I mean, that's more my question.
That's a good... maybe, did they think people all got them in the whole raid? They were actually pretty cheap in the whole raid.
Yeah,
and notice they increased the price on the Epic Cat and the Cannibal Wendigo. When they first came out, they were 5,000.
Yeah.
So now they're worth as much as a... What? They're worth as much as a Conqueror flagship? I mean,
yeah,
it's old, admittedly, but that's still not right.
Still one of the best in the game.
One limited turret is worth as much as a bus. Do they think the bus is that bad? Or, I mean, the Epic Cat's really good, but yeah, no fucking way. No.
And what is the issue with... I mean, are they sending us a message about what's coming in the future with the fact that the Elite Countermeasure turret is worth half the Cannibal Wendigo?
I guess they want to get it into people's hands?
Okay.
Or maybe they just think Epic Cat and Cannibal Wendigo are that useful. Like, I still haven't built a Cannibal Wendigo. I've spent all my time either putting on the new turret tops or swapping out the turrets after I've upgraded them to 9. I haven't put a single Wendigo on it.
I've got one Cannibal Wendigo, and I'm going to tell you what, don't waste your time because it ain't worth shit.
Okay,
yeah,
thanks much.
And there's the whole turret top versus carrot top debate, which we'll have later in the after show.
I mean, the Epic Cat top is pretty orange.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You do have a point there. But I'm not sure what else we got going on here. A lot of old stuff. Let's move on to the next slide, Dr. Death. Boulder Fist. Okay. So you have a reaction to that immediately with that name. I didn't put a picture to this because you guys know how I max pictures to slides, and this is YouTube, and I'm not sure Boulder Fist would have.
You shut the hell up. I've seen what's coming.
What? No. I didn't put any pictures for Boulder Fist though, because that wouldn't be.
Well, that's because your safe search is predominantly off.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
calling this the Rockley. That's for
Okay,
Daniel.
from Rockley.
You're welcome, Daniel.
Okay, Daniel doesn't have internet right now, but
Once he watches
ahead.
the show back, he'll chuckle. But I'm calling it the Rockley.
Okay. I'm calling it the rebirth of the Retribution. So we can get into that. The way I see it, and we'll talk into this more, because I started looking into it more once we get through the haul, the weapon, and the special, then we can talk about the whole thing as a combination. It's definitely a hope killer. There's no, just give all hope, give up all
Abandon
hope
all
at this
hope,
point.
ye who enter here.
Yes, exactly. Its main mission is to kill the hope, but it's going to have a hard time getting there. It's going to have a hard time advancing to that point where it can actually kill a hope in a halfway decently designed base. It's got crazy explosive deflection, so don't expect your Epic Cat Morts to work at all. But we'll see. We never know. Sometimes these mechanics don't work the way we expect, but
I feel like this is actually going to be a good test of the, as far as I know, still rumored that critical hits ignore deflection. Has that yet been disproven? Because this would pretty much disprove it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, because it will help us figure out the mechanic. Because I still think the Epic Cat Mortar mechanic is still messed up. It's, as in the description, the Boulder Fist is not, even though it's a base hitter, it doesn't have anything that overtly makes it good versus buildings or walls or anything of that nature. It's sort of the opposite. It's not terribly speedy, and also the radioactive deflection the corrosive deflection is the big thing, because the Inquisitor and the DOT should tear this up when it comes out with 8,000, and you could max out at 100,000 damn TPS on the DOT. So I sort of envision this as sort of how they set up the ore fleets, where they want you to sort of put one ship in, take one ship out, and move back and forth. But we'll talk about some of those things in a little bit. The radioactive deflection, I'm not sure how shock waves work against siege battery and things like that. But even with siege battery, well, if you have siege battery and then you pile up siege rad panels or shockwave panels or whatever you want to call them at this point, then you could block that out. But it is weird the way this one's set up. It's not an overpowering hit the back of the base, at least the way that the blueprint is designed, at least in my mind, which I sort of like. I mean, it's sort of like that's why I say it's a specialty tool for expert base hitters to get rid of the weaknesses and then take care of some of the advantages. And we'll talk more about the advantages, because I think the advantages more key into the weapon and the special than the hull itself. So if you want to click one more time, and again, they reduced the total repair time to 30 minutes, even though I'm going to keep on calling it 3 hours for quite a time.
Even though this wasn't even the hull that it was a mistake on.
Yeah,
that's a new level rolling right there.
Yes. We have the Crusher Cannon. um, which is again unusual for a Conquer Hall, as it does. Oh wow, does this one not even? Okay, huh? I copied
This one
their
doesn't even have.
I copied their blueprint. I'm looking at it. I copied their blueprint off of the page. It's the damage. Ship damage is 12,000. Wall damage is 6,000. Building damage is 600, and I didn't realize that that got snipped out at this point in time. Does
This
anybody
isn't
want
gonna. Yeah, this one is not gonna hurt turrets.
or the portal? Yeah, and I wish that it got included.
But I just want you to know that GIF you've got in there is just gonna give me nightmares.
Well, you know, it's a possibility.
This was the gift I was alluding to earlier. You don't want to put weird stuff in it. No.
Yes, but yeah, I'm not sure how things got cut off, but yeah, the building damage is not the wall damage. I'm not sure. I think it's because I took it from the forum. If you actually go to your shipyard, you'll see it's 600 is the building damage, and that'll explain things in the future. I'm sorry that I didn't go back to my shipyard, because normally I take stuff from the shipyard. I don't take it from the forums because it's usually aged, and I'm sorry on that one. Let's the other thing we talked about earlier, as far as putting this on your justice, which is a ballistic
that'll
call.
make for a nasty defense.
I like this plan. This is
Yeah.
a good plan.
Yeah, because you have the 50 range, and the Justice has a 55 by itself ballistic range.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're going to reach out and touch people with this, with 1,200 damage and a single salvo. So if somebody doesn't have 12,000 damage deflection, you don't have to deal with them having siege battery, because this is going to be on a ship. And so it's going to keep out several ships. So Brian, since you sounds like you looked at this as well, what ships does it keep out?
I didn't, not really. I think it keeps out the twin blade. It doesn't keep out a lot of ships with splash damage reduction, because this has splash, but twin blade. I think this was really meant to counteract the Hope, because the Hope has no ballistic deflection. But
Yeah, that's why I call it the Hope Killer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything else is going to be fine. The rate's going to be fine. It's just that and the twin blade are the only two I can think of right now.
Okay.
I did not actually do work on this.
Okay. All right.
My work is the Hydra Siege Cruiser.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one, where I did more work, and everything's shown in the it's the punch drive system. It's only a Conqueror and Defender special. Does not stack with Cannon System 4. So you can't increase your ballistic damage or reload. And gives you a bonus combat speed of +15. So it's basically doesn't have splash either. So it's like a quasi, it's a combination of several different things. But I started, based on what I said earlier, as far as the stacking, as far as the damage of ship damage, wall damage, building damage, I started running the numbers as far as the ship with 9 weapons and this special, the punch drive system, Scald, you would kill a Hope in 0.79 seconds if it didn't have any armor on it. If it didn't have any additional armor, and I'm not sure there's a reason to put additional armor in your Hope against ballistic, because you don't get any. All right.
How's it going?
What's going on here? All right.
That was with you, babe.
All right.
Okay, try and stay warm.
Hey, can you take?
Got him.
All right. Thank you. And then, so basically, it'll kill a hope very quickly. And I'm not sure what he's doing now.
Attention, Dr. Death, you're still on screen share. Be careful.
Yep.
Stay on target.
Yes. Whoops. Now it's
Uh-oh.
going on.
Rip.
Oh, there we go. Alrighty. The ship, the 9 weapons and the special Scald will kill a level, the top level wall piece in about 3 seconds, which is good. The next level is a level 10 tower. The timer will expire. The next level is the portal with the Drax seawall. That's going to take years to kill it, because of it's not even getting through the deflection, so it's doing minimum damage against like 6 million. So yeah, it's going to take years to kill at that point. So it's a funky haul. It will, because it's not an underwater weapon. It will. It can be used to spot first loss and things of that nature. So I sort of like it from the fact that it's sort of fun that sorry, it's sort of fun that it's not a back of the base haul, but it is a tool. It's basically to go in and take out. I mean, at this point, unless anybody can think of anything else, it's basically to take out the hope and anything else that doesn't have a lot of ballistic deflection. But the issue is, yeah, you need to have a friend or some of your other ships take out the portals, because that's not going to happen. And it's going to take you some time if somebody's got 5 to 10 wall pieces lined up. It's going to take some time to grind through that because you're not doing a lot of damage with the weapon, even with this reload, additional reload and ballistic damage associated with the haul and the special. I mean, I'm not even going to get into the ramifications of mixing different weapons onto this ship, which may not be a bad idea to make it more well-rounded, because there's really no reason to kill the hope in 0.79 seconds. You could kill it in a second and a half and probably do better as far as getting through walls and doing other things. So, Brian, you hadn't put much thought into this one, or?
No, I just got back and started looking at these like 40 minutes before the show started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was busy doing Hydra Siege cruiser math before the inevitable flood of plebs asking for a full build the day the ship comes out.
Yeah, I just see it as at this point in time, with the way it's given to us. I'm not saying that's the way you should build it, but the way it's been provided to us, because some people talk about, they gave it to it this way with this special and this and that and the other thing. I don't always think that's the best way to look at it, but yeah, it's going to kill a hope in no time flat. It's 2 salvos on a one ship, and so it'll be interesting. I'm curious, Dr. Death, are you still there? We might want to go on to the next slide, unless you or Brian have anything else.
And you are still muted. You would have to unmute yourself. We apologize, but there was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Xena is the only thing I could find related to Hercules that fit with the show. This is going to start 12/29. This is going to start Friday, and it's going to run for 13 days. This is your next skill chip. It's your next cannoneer. And you're going to get the CIC slot. That's not going to show up until all right. All right. Will not be released.
Sorry, I had to go to Google Hangouts to unmute myself.
Okay. All right. Will not be released until the January event. So I would be cautious on your builds as far as if you get them close to max weight, because we don't know anything about this at this point in time. As far as how much weight it might add, with weapon weight, armor weight, total weight, we don't know anything about it. And the disappointing part. The first 2 runs can be done with either Hunter or Fangtooth to get the weapon and haul. Third and fourth runs will require both Hunter and Fangtooth fleets to complete. So
Yeah, so we
So,
won.
there you
So
go.
for
The truth
all-
comes out.
So for
This-
all the players that were screwed in the last TLC and could not get the Eviscerator, guess what? You're still screwed.
Yeah, this is the Pruder film of 2 hulls. This is like the truth has come out as far as you need to have 2 hulls. They're finally admitting to that after how long?
And the next raid series is going to be the same way.
Well, we don't know that. We just know what's happened so far.
They're going to have one target. They're going to have 2 S targets. One's going to be set up to where you go in and you're going to have ballistic damage to kill it. The other one's going to be set up to where you have to have radioactive damage to kill it. I just guarantee it.
Yeah,
That's
and-
why they're setting up 2 different fleets with 2 different damage types.
Yeah, that's their way of differentiating this time, or before it was they would deal you it could either be splash damage reduction, or they would deal you submerged damage versus unsubmerged damage. That's their split this time. We wondered how they would tune these targets for TLCs going forward. They're not going to, because that would require work. And we also wondered how they will tune these for the map going forward, because as you might recall, there's a now infamous video of George autoing an ASET with a top end fleet of hunters, and the entire fleet barely survives an ASET, and the hunter number 5 is being a special little snowflake and is going off on its own mission and going through walls and shit. Like it's insane. And so that's the truth. If you're watching this show, you already knew, or you were in denial. Nobody on any show, ever since they put up that first raid briefing where it was 4 million points for the set bonus and 4 million for each target, ever since then, I don't think anyone on any show has ever believed that, oh yeah, they'll only ever require 1 fleet. That was true for the raid cycle, to Kix's credit. I did hunters for raids 2 and 3. I used only the hunters, and I got everything I ever could have wanted with hunters basically on auto for most of the time. But outside of the raid, that's just not going to be the case. You're going to need both fleets. And I have worse news. You have to build both fleets, and they're going to change the FM up in March. We don't know how or in what fashion or what they're going to offer in terms of a hull, but we're probably going to have to build 3 fleets in 4 months. So that's going to be a thing.
With each fleet
And-
taking 90 days to build.
Yeah. Well, this one might take a little longer. This might take 95 to 100. It's 18 days a haul with all charged, I think. Also, good news on the cruiser, the hull. I did some mock-ups, and with the heaviest stuff you could reasonably consider putting on, you're about 4,000, a little over 4,000 underweight. So we've yet to see how CICs interact with the total weight barrier. It's probably counted in So maybe you can fit 3,000 tons, 3,500 maybe. It really depends. So we'll have to see when that comes out, and you might have to tweak your build. And we obviously don't know what CIC is. None of them are out yet. If you want the full build, stop asking. Not even the entire kit for this hull is out yet. We haven't seen anything relating to the actual target. The closest we have is that target earlier with the missile that's radioactive and apparently deals tons of damage. So we don't know. Deal with it. Learn how to build the hull.
But Brian, the underlying problem is coiners and top players are able to get 2 fleets out, along with the escalation refits done during the raid time. All of your lower level players and your mid level players, you know, players that are still struggling to get through the FM, none of them have the capacity to do it unless they throw hundreds of coins at the game.
So point 1, Kix doesn't care about those players. Point 2, those players are typically far enough behind that I feel like they shouldn't be worrying about that anyway. They should be worrying about their FM fleet.
Especially right, but Brian, here's the problem. We need those players. Like coming up bounty, you already know most of the top level bases can't be cracked. So we need them little players to actually have enough interest in the game that they're going to click that join bounty button so that us whales can go out there and have farms. Well, if we can't find enough farms, we're going to be pissed off.
Well, there's also a different group of players. There's a different group of players like one that was #1 in the raid for a good portion, and then like Earth, who's on the show quite a bit, that came back at a point where they only had the choice to get the hunter. And those players that are spending mad coins in the game and have a good base that you can't get into, they can't do these. You know, I've gotten a lot of, you know, angry Facebook messages from people that are like, oh, this is fucked up. You know, I've spent all this money in the game and I can't progress.
Yeah.
And there's multiple classes of players that fit in this, because certain people will quit and then come back. And then you have the new players as well. And then, you know, the people that are like, okay, well, previously we only had to do one. Now we got to do both. I mean, they gave us a little bit of hint with the 106 associated with the assault.
That was a sucker punch, though.
The first one was, yeah, with that you needed to have the Skyfire. And now we've learned our lesson.
Yeah, well, you could do the whole raid with either or. You didn't have to have both fleets to do the raid itself.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and we still haven't even seen what the new map targets from this raid cycle are going to be when they come out on the water.
I'm scared for that day. Like, I am legitimately afraid for that.
But you know that's still yet to come. Which fleet are you going to have to be able to do those?
And that's why I'm scared.
Yeah,
exactly right.
You know, I've got both fleets. Both fleets are fully built. Both fleets are fully built with the escalation weapons. So I'm in good shape. I'm able to do anything they throw at me. But there ain't a lot of players in the game that are in that spot.
Yeah, it's not enough to make it mandatory. But the other issue that I see once we start going through these is you're sort of considering getting all this stuff early at this point. Because you're only screwed out of the special. And once this raid comes up, nobody's going to have these things skulled or ranked at that point in time. And so they'll have the hull that they can keep on building at this point. They can put the weapon on it, and you know, nobody's going to have them skulled. So, you know, they go into the camp, they go into the raid, and then they do it, and then they get the special. So it's not like something to get really upset about. It's as far as the ramifications this time around. But just just the fact they expect you to have both of them. I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, I do have both of them all built up, and and I did make the mistake. I don't have. I mean, I think 70% of my Fangtooths have my nightmares. I have like 70% nightmares, 30% deliriums, and I accidentally on the mastery round last time I was first time I hit it and I was like, oh, I took too much damage. I accidentally docked my Fangtooth. And I was
Ouch.
like, oh, yeah. And so I put my hunters out there, and they lasted all of 0.01 seconds in that target. It was just one single volley, and it was dead.
I mean,
So yeah. So yeah. Go ahead.
Can I bring up again about how that rule where subs need to be 100% repair to be launched on the map is irrelevant and should be removed, where the circumstances that they made that under, they either prove they stopped caring about with their future actions and either in balance, quote unquote, balancing the game or in target design. Like, there's literally no reason for that to apply anymore. That needs to stop. That need to have stopped with this new raid cycle.
Yeah.
But, or at least,
No,
see,
because that requires coins. You're either going to coin the fleet on the map or you're going to coin the fleet in the base, but you're going to coin the fleet if you want to use it again.
or you're going to flip a table and quit. They're not going to get the rest of your 100 coin that you'd spend during the raid. Like, you're not going to top up because this stupid rule forced you to stop playing, and then you have to actually stop and think about how much you really care about this raid. And for some people, they may care and keep going, but I'm sure for many others, they won't. And the ratio of cares to not has to be, with the numbers I gave earlier, what, about 15-1 for 6 coins, 7 coins or pair, to outdo the guy who's not spending $10 on 100 coins because they did something and now he's not going to give them more money. I mean, I know that the World Health Organization in 2018 is going to put gaming addiction as a mental disorder, but damn, guys, come on.
Hey, Larry, how are you doing?
Doing good.
You just wonder what you walked in on, Xena and
Kinda.
gaming addiction by who? Yeah, that's,
No, he missed the earlier brick breaking GIF.
no. Well, we can go back to that.
I got
later.
a preview of it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I told him I would save that one for him.
That's an experience that must be shared with other humans.
Yeah, so other people can have nightmares from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crush her cannon. I hardly touched her cannons.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch her cannons.
Yeah. You should have seen there was another one where another one was crushing watermelons, and that was too graphic. So
that was the hammer cannon. That's Gallagher.
Yeah. Well, it took her like 4 shots to break the watermelon. It was a little,
So the Hydra Siege Cruiser is stats right here. Bang. Thank you, Dr. Death, for the timely.
And if anybody wants a build, just PM Brian because he'll give it to you.
Okay.
I will tell you to go the hell away. I just don't respond. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Why do you want to build?
Yeah. Well, this is the Siege Skill Hall, and it's, in 2 days you're going to be able to complete a TLC that we at least know that you're going to get the Hydra and the optimized launcher, which you can do with either fleet. You're not going to be able to get the special. With just having one fleet, you need both in order to do that. And they have made changes since last week. There was a little bit of fine tuning associated with the deflections, associated with the special abilities, but not a lot of huge changes. I mean, without seeing the targets, it looks like a fine haul. It looks like an improvement in my mind over the auto haul, which I'm not terribly enthusiastic about. But I don't know. Larry, you want us to go back to the bounty prizes?
I don't know. I wasn't super excited about the new haul. I mean,
Well,
maybe you
we
said
could go
this
back.
already, right?
I was sort of excited about it as far as it's like the new. It's a tricky haul in my mind. It's a haul that is basically it's sort of like the retribution, and then like the old like DNXs that you'd put assault mortars on. If outfitted the way it's prescribed, it's not going to damage anything except for ships.
Here's what I saw. I saw tier 6.5,
Mhm.
and Kixeye said tier 7 Conquerors are coming in January. So you want to bust your ass to get this in bounty, and then build it when something class better is coming out in the raid in a couple weeks?
Well, we don't know if they're rounding up. We don't know if 6.5 is actually 7, and then we're going to see 6.75 next week, right?
6.875 is going to be in March.
Yeah. We don't know if they're rounding. I don't know. There's a communication issue, I think.
I don't know.
Xeno ship.
I mean, I saw that, and I was like, and 57 million or 57,000 in bounty is not something I usually make. So I was actually thinking about sitting this one out, even just because I don't have anything I need to catch up on.
Yeah.
Come on! Don't you want to get that King's Writ skin?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the only thing that really looks interesting to me is the Crusher Cannon to put on my my Justice.
Yeah. So I might join just to get the weapon or the special, or I mean, I can usually do 20,000, so maybe I'll get those two and be done, and then yeah, I might do that. But I'm just not super excited about bounty this month, especially. I mean, again, the lesson after last month, you bust your ass to get the top prize, and then it comes out in the raid in 2 weeks. That's
and this time, if you bust your ass to get the top prize, it's going to be outdone in 2 weeks.
Right. So I don't see it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, that we brought up before is why. I mean, I like the model. I'm not sure if Kixeye or everybody likes the model where you release the Defender in the raid, and then you release the Conqueror in bounty, just to keep everything close together,
Sure.
Just to create, stop having this have and have nots type of thing.
But it's not close right now. Base defense rules if you've got a top base. And even with the new ships they brought out, I don't see them making that much of a difference in cracking the top level bases.
Right, and that's why you're going to want tier 7. So busting your ass for a tier 6.5 is just I don't know why you'd bother.
And then they didn't change.
But the jump between
either. So,
but that 6 versus 6.5 is an arbitrary number, as you well know. I mean, the jump between 6 and 6.5 was huge. Do you think the jump between 6.5 and 7 is going to be as large?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, are they going to make turrets completely ineffectual again? That's the way it looks.
I mean, probably. I mean, I didn't get too much of a chance to study it. I've been kind of busy since the release. But the thing I did notice about the Boulder Fist is it had that 200,000 ballistic deflection, if I'm not mistaken. So that should allow it to hold out against the that new kinetic motion cannon that'll rip up just about anything else out there. But
as long as you build it now.
And you're not going against a base with the Inquisitors in it.
Oh, okay.
Well, go back, Dr. Death. Could you go back to the?
Or even a properly built adder turret. with enough support around it. An adder turret with enough support around it's gonna hurt this.
Oh yeah, only 8K corrosive, so that's gonna. Yep. So I'm just not. I don't know. I mean, if you get this, maybe you want to build one. Building 5 certainly seems like a waste of time or coin.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
By the way, I'm also a big fan of Buffy, so I appreciate the Buffy picture.
You're not a big fan of a go forward one?
You're not
her?
A big fan?
Yeah. No. You keep on skipping over.
I think there's a reason.
There we go.
I don't need no more nightmares.
There we go.
Kickside gives me enough nightmares. I don't need any more from the show.
No. One more back.
He said he already saw it.
He's refusing. Oh my God. There we go.
Larry said he already saw it. There's no real point.
Yeah.
Is this your future wife, Hefe? Is that why you want to go back?
It's an ex-wife. Yeah.
She squashed Hefe's previous wife.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about the concussion protocol in the NFL. I don't know how this works.
Is she like jumping off of a ladder onto you? Like, is this full WWE?
She didn't need to. I mean, she can crush concrete bricks. Imagine what she would do to your head just being on top. That's a whole different issue.
All right, Google, how much does the brick cost?
All right.
But the thing I did miss off of this slide was the fact that wall damage is 6,000 because I copied it from the forums like the rest of them. I try to take out of the shipyard. The building damage is only 600, which means that, like I put in here, there's no way you can take out a portal with this ship. I mean, the only way you're going to do
both the cannons, the cannon for the Eviscerator and the cannon for this hull that they've come out with, both of them had very low building damage.
Yeah, maybe these are ships you just want to kill fleets on the water with.
Or I brought up earlier as far as using like way back when, you would use like a DNX with the assault mortars and just go in and take out the ships and then to prep.
Oh, the prep. Yeah, you can do that.
But the issue with this one is the fact that it would take it days to take out the portal.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's not going to get through a portal.
Yeah. But they are not underwater weapons. So therefore, they can spot for sloths and whatnot in order to get that done. But it does seem like a complicated base hit, is all I'm saying.
Right.
Which people didn't like when we were in the Ore series, the Rival series. People didn't seem to like that. I found it interesting.
It was interesting
personally.
Once or twice. Just got to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You can go forward. All right, and we did this one. One more.
Oh, and do note the repair efficiency on this is 0.8.
Yep.
Yeah,
At the
same.
same the build time and the repair efficiency on this are the same as the auto haul. And the same as the old stuff. The same as the Ironclad and the Cannoneer.
Oh, that min range is interesting.
Yeah. It's
that is a min range. Well, I'm glad I did my searching in incognito mode. Anyway.
It's definitely talking about kiting. It's taking kiting to a whole different level with that 70 min range.
But when are you ever like when are you more than 25 units from max range, like close to your target? Like something went wrong if you're that close.
Yeah, generally what it is the game lags.
Yeah, and that I know I came to that conclusion, and that's concerning me. Your ship starts spinning, and then you're dead.
Yeah, because you're going to get in within that minimum range and stop firing, and they're just going to eat your fleet.
But if you recall the last siege stuff, you know, you have the pop-up walls that drive you into a maze with things popping up around you. Yeah, this minimum of 70 could play in with turrets, walls, and whatever popping up.
Well, now we were told there would be no pop-ups in this next raid.
Yeah, like that screws the game up enough as it is. And if they made pop-up walls in a mid-range just to lag you out and hose you in DDoS, then they're resorting to like cheating StarCraft 2 player tactics. And I mean, they're a shit company, but I don't think they do that.
Yeah, but it's odd. I mean, the reason I highlighted that one is because why did they do that? Why did they choose a 70 minimum range? There's got to be a reason for it, at least in my mind. Are you supposed to complement it with another launcher? Are you what's supposed to go on there that they chose that? Because that's the first time we've seen anything like that, and I've been playing for a long time.
Theoretically, this is a siege launcher for siege targets, right? It's never going to hit ships because that accuracy. So, if you think about how you use your cannoneers right now, right, you pick stuff off from max range.
Yeah.
I think the only exception to that is when you're doing one of those like radiation towers in a 99 and you kind of get real close and you whip around it so it can't track you. But, it might not end up being a problem.
That projectile speed is slow too.
All launchers are slow. They've always been slow.
It's not slow for a launcher. If you look through the launchers, it's not slow for a launcher. Launchers are slow. This is a fast launcher. A lot of them are like 120.
Okay.
So, the interesting part that I saw, the building damage is not that much different from the shockwave damage. And if you put siege battery and siege targeting, the building damage from any hit is going to be way, way fucking larger than the shockwave damage, because you can get to like 900 and something building damage. And so the shockwave damage is the shockwave damage increased at the same time? You understand what I'm saying? Because
it won't be.
I don't think I don't think so, because they kept saying, "Oh, it's not the only thing that boosts shockwave damage is shockwave damage," like specifically on the new special.
Yeah, so if you put specials on there that say shockwave damage plus 30%, it's nothing. It's nothing relative to, okay, now I have building damage of 965%. That 30% is not worth the weight or the special slot.
And then also there's factors we don't know. We don't know how many hits it's going to take to get the shockwave, and different things like that in the game. We don't know what their resistance is going to be. So,
but if you look at that new special, it is worth it because it has the multi-shot bonus, right? So that's going to increase your damage, right? If you go multi-shot 4 to multi-shot 6, that increases your damage by 50%.
Yeah, plus it's got radioactive damage bonus and shockwave damage bonus.
Yeah, and so that'll all like the multi-shot and radioactive on this special is essentially a multiplier to your building damage, because that's all independent. You know what I mean? I'm guessing.
Oh, right, yeah.
By the
silence,
maybe nobody knows what I mean.
I'm staring at my spreadsheet right now.
Well, now, will the radioactive damage bonus apply to the building damage?
It's like separate. So, like it's not going to go from 900 to 940. It's sort of like going from 900 to 1300 or something. I'm not going to try and do live math. And then the multi-shot's sort of the same. It's like going from 900 to 1350.
Yeah,
Because it's
no,
like an extra. You get 50% more shots, and the shots are determined by the damage stat.
George wrote an article about multi-shot. If you're watching this, you probably know how to use Google. Look it up. I wrote an article about DPS. Look it up.
Well, I do understand DPS and I understand the multi-shot. I just don't know how I haven't seen how the radioactive damage computes with building damage.
I mean, Larry's right. They're separate, but they're both important. And you do need both. Like increasing your radio damage bonus from 0 to 100% is going to do you more than increasing your building damage from 600 to 700%.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's kind of like how it was with the Twin Blade, I believe, where you still wanted all that pen damage bonus because they are separate. There's separate coefficients in the calculation. You get way more out of the trying to boost both.
Yeah, and I mean, if you need the rule of thumb, right? The idea is like whichever damage, like if you're trying to decide between radioactive damage and building damage, you want to boost whichever one is lower, and that'll help you more.
Now, does anybody know will this special stack with the other radioactive bonus specials?
I guess
You have to go and do some specific stuff. It's not going to stack with that pyramid special that goes on the courage. But you can put fusion charger with it, but that's not worth it. The actual correct answer. Okay, so your 6 specials on your Hydra. With
Get out
what
your pens, boys and girls.
with what we know right now, without knowing anything about any CIC or what this does, December 27th, 2017, 5:14 p.m. PST. Speed system, pick your best. Alloy armor, I pick CL3. Some people are thinking LA3 and reflective coating 4 for super defense, but do that later. Pick your best siege battery, pick your best turret, or pick your best siege targeting, because that massively increases your building damage. The new special is number 5 if you can get it. The 6th slot is Autoloader 4. The only other thing I can think of that you could put on there is Fusion Charger. That's the one that gives triple your supercharge and shockwave damage bonus 6% up to total 30%. And it's close, but it's just not good enough. If you cannot get the new special, your second best option is anything that gives you multi-shot. 2.
Right. Yeah, there's the emission generator. I think gives you multi-shot and supercharge.
Yeah, I think that's your best option if you can't. If you don't have that, the scatter system will go on this hull. The thing intended for your Phantom Gluts and Sinful Scatter Guns can go on this hull. It is illegal play. It made me laugh. And it gives you bonus combat speed, which is certainly not a bad deal. That gives scatter reload, which doesn't matter, but whatever. You can put Barrel System 3, I think it's called, from way back in the day.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of backup options. They're not going to work as well, but if you can't get the special, you use what you have to, and these aren't the worst by far. They're probably still better than the mass augmentation Nexus works on the Buccaneer.
Now, does anybody know? Are they giving us?
Words.
Does anybody
Sorry, go ahead.
know? Are they going to give us any build tokens in this TLC?
That's unknown at this time.
Find out tomorrow.
I feel like that's going to be in level 4. They might give us like a little bit in level 3 and a lot in level 4.
They might, but without VXP tokens, still, right? I mean, I just feel like no matter what, unless you're coining rank, you're bringing your Buccaneers to the first raid,
or you're bringing Cannoneers.
So Also,
Good luck with that.
I keep on bringing that up, and everybody hates. I'm not suggesting that people like wait and use Cannoneers, but once it pops up, I mean, because a lot of people, on the preview, a lot of the people in the preview saw an S target, and a lot of times with 4-month raid cycles, you don't see an S target the first cycle, and so what we saw associated with the Garrison target, I mean, I don't know. I mean, good thing I can talk about it because I don't know any better. But that would be my hope. And so therefore is an unranked is the unranked Hydra equipped with the new weapons doing more damage than a Scald Cannoneer? Because they're both going to be similar speeds and similar range.
Right.
I mean, because it's true. But
so the question will be is whether a skill hall can do this raid cycle for 0 damage. And so if you have the range, right, and a Cannoneer should theoretically have the range over a Buccaneer, then right, the Cannoneer should have similar range to the Hydra. So if nothing outranges you, then maybe you'll be able to do it with Cannoneers. I don't know.
I'm gonna bet we're still gonna see a tier 7 target this raid, and it's gonna be locked.
Yeah, I mean they literally did lock out the targets the other time to only the top tier, but also if they have a specific target for the Hydra, which I don't know, but maybe, I imagine it's going to have amazing ballistic resistance on those turrets.
I don't know. Doing that this raid would be a real dick move. The Hydra only target.
Yeah,
they did this, but they did.
I'll just say that.
They did it last time.
But Professor, they did it last time on the very first raid. Remember? Whole 2 weeks before the freaking raid started.
That's right. That's right.
But
you're right.
They released the halls differently.
I didn't call it a dick move back then, but it was a dick move.
It was a dick move, and they're going to do it again. You just watch.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
I don't know. I just remember my Punishers and Citadels tearing crap up.
Yeah, but they're saying they're doing that to reward the coiners.
Where are they saying this? I mean, where's this being?
Oh, they said that. He's right.
They did say that. They said that they were putting out an S target to reward everybody who had coined the freaking hunters. Yeah, in the very first raid of the last series, because they dropped the hunters out 2 weeks before the raid started, and then put a target out for those hunters and said the people that coined them, this is their reward, and they're going to be able to get the bonus points for doing both targets.
So you have to be in that group, you have to have not won the Fangtooth the previous raid, somehow still won the Hunter 2 weeks after the raid, spent what, $100, $150?
About $220 to build the full Hunter fleet. It was $220 to build the full Hunter fleet.
How about rank?
That's the other question. But well, no, you could buy rank. They had ranked LTOs. So let's say 250.
All right.
So $250 to have all that sorted. You had to get the charged armors because that's not a luxury item. You notice they haven't said that again because we'd call bullshit on them immediately because we know better. Yeah, they haven't said that.
So I've said in another forum, there's no such thing as a luxury item in Battle Pirates. So if anybody ever says that ever again about anything, they're wrong.
We can probably. Nobody wants to prove it mathematically, but I'm sure we could. Like, no one's ever gone into the top end targets without charged armor, or when they're charged. Well, no, I've done some stuff when my charges run out, and sweet zombie Jesus, there's no way.
Yeah,
Then
you
it-
got
then
it
it
real
really-
quick.
Yeah, then it really
It's
is
a
like,
luxury for it's a luxury for kick-sized pockets.
I mean, I earned the armor without spending money. It sucks that you
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
gonna
put them
say
on.
honestly, I
You have to-
I've spent hardly anything last raid cycle. I did all the raids for 0, and I spent beforehand. I spent on an LTO to get some ship build tokens so I could get the fangs ready to get the Phantom Fang. That was all I spent last raid cycle.
All right, that was a weird decision. I like how
Well, no, but if you think about it, sadly, a lot of your big whales, a lot of us that are spending a lot of money on this game, have started going that route. You know, back 2 years ago, I would not have batted an eye on dropping money on the game left and right. And now, I only drop it if I absolutely have to. I have gotten so freaking stingy with my pocketbook on this game just because of the way Kicksai's doing things.
yeah, it's weird because it's not investment for your money. Like, look at PvP. I don't really think I have to cite my sources here. Like,
You know-
that they screw that up so much, and then people like they require so much at such frequent intervals. You got to wonder, like, maybe they really do enjoy being on top for that short amount of time. spending
there's
that
a
much
guy.
time.
There's a guy hitting
There's a guy in the
after
corner. What's his name?
after.
Is it Louis? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to call him out, but
Louis. We'll call him Louis.
okay,
'Cause
Louis.
Louis sounds like the guy in the corner. Yeah.
All right, so Louis was out in our sector, failing on one guy's base of my alliance, and then coining the fleet and doing it again, and then like trying another base and another base, and it was like
rip off. It's 22.55.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, like, who does that anymore? I sent him a message. I said, "Thanks for supporting Kicksai's year-end bonus." He got kind of mad. Like, do you even coin?
Do you even coin, bro?
Brian. Yeah. I like the way Brian added the bro in at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to connect with them kids.
I mean, like, who does that now? I don't know.
not
There's
many
still
left.
people who do it.
I
There's
guess.
still a few out there, but there's not. It's not like it was back in the day.
I mean,
Like, he must have dropped $10 just in half an hour in on-map fleet repairs for really a bunch of failed hits. That
Oh
was
my God.
the funny part about it. He was just
But
failing.
Professor, think about it. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have batted an eye to drop 1,000 coins just to go and to war in a sector for one night.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I mean,
yeah, okay.
it used to be that way.
All right. Should we move on from this one to the next
Sure.
slide? All right. March to War has been extended to January 1st, which is, good if you want to get at the Viscerator, which is probably not the real prize that people want. They probably want the 3-day Conqueror class build tokens so they can store them up until the Tier 7 Conquerors come out.
Yeah.
guilty.
Yep.
I thought it was
Right.
Viscerator only, then I saw it was Conqueror only, and then I rolled my eyes and did it 4 more times.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And, okay. We've already talked about March to War. This is just to extend it to January 1st. All right. Next slide. Oh, okay. Larry wasn't
What?
here for this.
Hmm?
Larry, were you here for this,
Last week? No.
Brian? Okay.
I think I saw the
d-
one on the left.
Yeah. Over on VXP weekend, I was recommending people to, if you could not find the 100s in your sector, because people were killing them just to get the defender tokens 3 times 10K, which is understandable. So I would go to sectors that were dead and basically hit them there. And so I hit one there and I died. And it was 4 hours to come back. And and during the 4 hours to come back, I was like, after 5 minutes, because the long way home has been in the game for a while, but it hasn't. For a while there, it was cured after 5 minutes. I kept on refreshing and doing whatnot, and so I filed a ticket. I mean, the whole ticket, I have screenshots of, like 5 minutes after it happened, 45 minutes after it happened. So, I presented the whole thing to them, and because basically, you have 36 hours, 4 hours are missing, and then I have my silver salties just went away. They have pictures of all this crap, and so they gave me 8 gold and a normal salty, not the silver salty, just the normal one. And so I was underwhelmed, as you might imagine. And I responded in such a way, and they told me they could not give me a silver salty, which I know is bullshit. I mean, I've known people that have gotten much bigger crews put on there, and
if they can give a regular salty, they can give a silver salty.
Yeah,
it's not a technical problem.
Yeah, and I sent pictures of it. It wasn't like I was lying about it, because there was pictures of, my crew in there. And, I mean, the reason I put this up is, like, I've gotten some freaking ridiculous ticket responses. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. And it makes me upset sometimes. This one didn't make me that upset, because at this point, I am like, this group that's responding tickets has no fucking idea what they're doing, and they assume all the players are lying to them, and I'm not sure where they're, where things are coming from. But the way they treat players is not good. And the reason I put it up, I call it Ticket of the Week, is basically in the future, if you guys either through the BPC page or whatnot, if you have an absolutely ridiculous ticket, it has to surpass this, because this is just me, and I've had way worse tickets, like where they came in and they took away my charged armors, and yeah, and they took away my charger, and they kept on taking them away, and I'm like, no, I should have never filed a ticket, because you guys are taking away my stuff away. But I'm just, just so the players know that ridiculous shit happens, and hopefully we figure out how to resolve it. And maybe if KIXEYE watches some of these shows and sees the responses they get from the company they contract to, might realize, like, why people get really upset and just rage quit on them. It would be, I think we'd be adding something to the community by just providing this outlet. But if you provide them and I can't understand them, I'm not going to put them up there. I need to have them be bona fide. I can't. You understand? I can't have them just be like something I don't understand. I'm not going to post rantings and ravings.
Yeah, right. And that's the flip side of these tickets. Is I see some of these things people post that they write in tickets to KIXEYE, and it's like really, you expect a response to that? Yeah, okay, whatever.
But you see this example. I'm not ranting and raving.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. This is a reasonable ticket.
Yeah, but I'm saying, a reasonable ticket. Don't But either through the BPC page, or if you know me or whatnot, I would be I'm not going to post one every week, but I think it would be useful for the player base, and I think it would be useful for anybody from KIXEYE that watches it to realize what their customer service contractor is doing with responses to players, and why some get very upset with them. So,
but look now, come on now. They gave you true value. You got 8 gold for losing 4 hours of game time.
And they also, and I also lost my silver salty, which they responded with the normal one. And they had pictures of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it was a silver salty, I
they
think
had
that would have
pictures
been a
of it.
reasonable response, actually.
Yeah, no. I mean, because, I could have said I had lag in a target. I would have got 30 gold, right?
Yeah.
I would have got better than I got just by saying I had lag on a target, not spending the time taking screenshots, all that bullshit. I mean, what's the point of actually giving them information as far as what's wrong with the game, improving it with screenshots and things of that nature, and providing, because there's more to this ticket, and this ticket's not over, as you may well imagine.
Oh, you're not going to let it drop at that?
No. No. I already got the home addresses of everybody of Jamie McMorrow and Wallace Kearney, because those are real people. Yeah, I already got tickets bought to go visit them in their houses.
Note to viewers, those are not real people.
Yes. Yeah. If you ever find a ticket,
Names have been
get a
changed to
response.
protect the innocent.
Most of them on a Google search, there's not a person with that name. I mean, Jamie McMorrow is some guy in Ireland. Yeah. These people are not. These are interesting made up names. I sort of like them.
They could be Irish, actually. Ireland's not. Ireland is a tech outsourcer.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not as cheap as India, or Philippines, but.
Yeah, this is the perils of going with the lowest bidder.
All right, but I think this is the last slide. I could post end of slides. I'm sorry, everybody. We can go back to the Crusher Cannon just for Larry.
No.
I mean, you're not controlling the slides, so no, we can.
Take me off present.
Okay. Well, we knew you were scared of her, so yeah. Yes. All right. We're back to normalness, and I will. I'm going to post a link in case anybody wants to join the after show.
Everybody wants to join the after show.
Yeah. We want to hear about how we. Wait, we haven't even heard, Larry. Did you cook for? Well, I'm assuming you do a Christmas dinner, right?
No, I'm Jewish. I don't cook. Christmas
Okay,
dinner.
well, I mean, I know you're Jewish.
I
just know, but you do eat bacon cheeseburgers. But so, do you do? You don't?
No. Now, the last excellent thing I made in the sous vide, did I tell you about these tacos al pastor?
No.
Oh, so al pastor is like a pork and kind of marinated, and then with some pineapple. And so in real Mexican, it's like on a spit, sort of like gyro meat. So what I did is I sliced up the butt shoulder that I usually make for pulled pork, made the al pastor sauce, threw it in the bag with the sliced butt shoulder, 24 hours, 140. Then I sliced it into strips, put on some cubed pineapple, threw all that on a sheet pan in the broiler. That came out real nice.
Very nice. Yeah, I actually did all of Christmas dinner without using the sous vide.
Okay.
I'd spent a lot of time with the oven, and I was I clocked down the lowest temperature that I could, and then I put a Pyrex measuring cup in there, but days before, and filled with water at the minimum temperature to figure out what the actual cooking temperature was at that oven at the lowest temperature. I found it was 145. So I took a standing rib roast, salted the day before, threw it in the fridge, uncovered, and for 5 hours, I put it in that 143.5 degree oven until it was 123 in the center. And at that point in time, it was about 5 hours. I pulled it out and I let it, I tented it, and I cranked that oven up to 500 degrees and then threw it back in. So the outer part had a chance to cool. But I'd still been doing semi-sous vide with, using a cooking temperature of 143 for 5 hours.
Sure.
But I was still drying the crap out of the outside to get a nice caramelization at the end. So I was, I'm glad I didn't use the sous vide. The big problem with it is, a lot of people, for when they make the standing rib roast, they want to have drippings. Nothing drip. You could have put a paper towel, a toilet paper underneath there. Nothing came out of it. All the liquid either evaporated, nothing dripped out, the fat didn't drip out. So that was a problem. But the meat itself, absolutely outstanding. I mean, it was rare, medium rare from edge to edge.
All right.
So, yeah, just so we know,
Cool.
Brian,
these things happen on Christmas.
Yeah, what is he reading?
I am reading a book.
Looks like there's a picture of a guy.
He works at a library. Don't give him a hard time.
Yeah, I work in a library.
Don't give him a hard time for reading books.
He's a librarian.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is because it's kind of blurry, right? But it looks like there's a picture of a guy and there's a big giant dildo behind him on the front of the book. That's what it looks like.
No, that is a sponging apparatus.
That don't sound any better.
All right. Well,
Mission accomplished.
unless Brian would like to
If I
explain
wanted
it
to learn about
I
sous
could
vide,
go to
I'll
the
watch
after
this
show.
back.
All right, should we say goodnight to the assembled?
Well,
Masses?
unless Brian wants to respond. I mean, I don't want to leave Brian out on ledge on this whole thing. Brian, would you like to respond, or should we go to the after show?
I mean, I'm reading a book. I picked it up because I like the cover art and I like the author. It's a comic. It's a comic book. It's
Okay.
called Awkward. There you fucking go. Have fun, internet.
Okay. All right. Lady Cat was asking what the book was, and now
And
she knows.
now she knows. It's
Yeah.
it's
If you
Svetlana
want to,
Svetlana.
Lady Cat, if you want to join the after show, and
And we
I'm
can talk about
I'm not.
sponging apparatuses.
Well, I got to go to dinner, so y'all have fun.
Alrighty.
All right.
I'm not sure how that went, but I posted the link if anybody wants to join, and I'm going to end the broadcast.
Everybody have a happy new year.
Gute Nacht.
Good night.
And don't read in front of Dr. Death.
Gute